What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Hope you guys had a productive weekend outside of what happened. We're going to talk about it. I woke up on, I think it was on Saturday, I believe. I did a show on TikTok on Saturday just to have my conversation about that. At that point, I'm like, are we at war? At least we are in somebody's war when we should not be actually bombing anybody. That's between Israel and Iran. It shouldn't be between us. We shouldn't have anything to do with it other than offering weapons. We give other countries weapons like Ukraine. We've been kind of backing away from Ukraine, which is more of our safety than this. But no, Donald Trump helped out Netanyahu, and now we don't know what they're going to do. Now, they made a preemptive strike on one of our military bases out there. They notified people that that's what they were going to do prior to. Of course, the Qatar people, or Qatar, everyone say it, Qatar, they were notified just so that they wouldn't have, beef with Iran and Qatar or Qatar. And they notified America, because had they not, then America would have been pissed off with Qatar. So all of our people, I guess, got out of the way, got into bunkers, whatever it may be. Some say that none of the bombs or anything like that landed. They got all intercepted. Some say a few landed, no one was hurt. Don't know the full facts. I've heard more sources say that that they were intercepted than I heard them landing. So I can go with one or the other, but it's all still up in the air about what happened, right? So just like everybody else, what's up, Woke Mike? If you woke up, well, I wake up late because I go to bed late. But I woke up and I all I was hearing was people like we bombed Iran, we bombed Iran. I'm like, what the fuck are we bombing Iran for? I had no clue, right? And this is the first thing that I saw, right? And this is his tweet, Donald Trump's tweet, that I looked on, line, and they had this like right on the screen. I think it was either MSNBC or something. They had like a screen saver of this. I was like, what is this? And I'm here reading it, and I'm like, we have completed a very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. So they went in and got out. It was successful in what they did. Now, you don't know if the bombs were successful in getting rid of everything or destroying things. I don't know all the details about what these things do and how they work. But I'm like, if you're bombing something that's highly explosive to begin with, wouldn't it have been like some kind of cloud or something, or some kind of nuclear kind of reaction? I mean, I don't know all about this. That's why I was asking, but I haven't heard anybody ask. Did they see plumes of smoke coming out of this thing? I mean, they had to have had some kind of, footage of it, not from other countries, from us. We did the bombing, so we should have been able to see it. And you think they would have showed it? I haven't seen it yet. The picture they keep showing me is like just of the area. I don't know if it was a day after, a day of. I don't know when it is, but everything's kind of like, darkened in the area. So you guess it's just leveled. You have no idea. But that same kind of photo or close to it, they have a bunch of trucks that Iran says that moved out a lot of this reactive, this nuclear stuff that they need. Now, assumptions are all over the place. You can imagine that. People are assuming left and right. Of course they will. They don't know what's going on. But these people who have these definites, that's the ones I worry about. Because you got Trump saying definitely he did what he did. Then you got other people saying, well, Iran is weakened now. I'm like, really? So they were so weak that they ended up throwing bombs up the next day. Y'all make it seem like they ain't got nothing. It doesn't make any sense that within 24 hours, they didn't have to regroup for shit. They bombed us. Now, again, this is the exact same thing that happened before. They killed one of the leaders under Donald Trump, killed one of the head leader, and then they ended up bombing one of our forces, whatever. And many of our military men and women, I'm guessing, I don't know exactly the makeup between the men and women, but military soldiers, put it that way, had a lot of what they call brain injuries. They have an acronym for it, but so they have all of these brain injuries from it before. Remember, Donald Trump didn't do anything last time that happened. They got fired on. A lot of Americans got hurt, but mostly brain injuries. We heard nothing else about it. That was the end of it. So then playing back and forth games and shit, like little war games, which didn't make any sense to me. Hey, DJ, how you doing? I see you, Brenda, Antoine. So I don't know exactly. I don't take any of this shit. I take a grain of salt with everybody act like they know what they're saying. I'm peeking in on different channels, trying to listen to it. I don't watch anything fully, but when the war stuff came on, I had to go watch everything because I was like, I don't know if, I'm in a major city. I don't know if I didn't know whether it's going to be a situation where it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like they had their people, and their people are embedded everywhere. People are embedded everywhere. Just like we got people embedded everywhere. We must be stupid if we don't think that people are embedded here too. So, all they got to do is ask their or command their proxies or whatever it is to do something, and they can do something. So I didn't know what was going on, how much that's going to come back. But they came back pretty quickly. But I keep hearing all these pundits on different stations, local and, international, and, people who do international news. They all say, and they could be right, that Iran is damaged, so damaged. And I'm like, if it's so damaged, why y'all still worried about them? Why y'all still trying to make peace? They ain't got no weapons to do anything the way y'all see it. It's crazy how this is if you look at the map, Iran is the biggest country on that side. When you look at that map and you look at Israel, Israel's a gnat. Israel's like that on the map. You know what I'm saying? Iran is like this, which to me is like, And plus they got Russia on their team. They got China on their team, but those two are kind of timid and aren't doing anything right now, as we know. We don't know what else is going to happen. I know that Putin wants so bad to get on Trump's team or to stay on his team so he can get Ukraine. So he's going to be timid. He's not going to say anything. Now, some people I've just, and I don't know, it usually doesn't happen this quick, but greed happens immediately. And I'm let you know where I'm going with this. I've had a few people contact me and told me that in their state, gas prices already shot up. Now, gas prices shouldn't be shooting up that quick because it just happened, and we got reserves. We don't need to, have anything right now. But they closed that little strait where, at least they said they did. There was two people who said they did, two stations. The other one said they couldn't corroborate it, but either way, this like strait or canal type of thing where our 2%, or is it 20%? 20% of our oil comes through. They shut that down. We got problems. Now, that should not affect us immediately. But greedy people, they'll be like, shoot it up real quick because we don't know when we're going to get something. So they'll automatically shoot it up before their reserves start to fall out. So you might see increases in your gas prices from some gas stations and so forth that have jumped the gun. I got at least 3 people who hit me up with that. I haven't made a video or anything about it. So then he goes in, a payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site. He told all this thing like that. And congratulations to our great American warriors. Thank God they got out safely. See, there is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention. I don't mind you bragging about your military. Do what you do. But I don't understand that bravado stuff is not something. It's not in my game. I don't need to be all braggadocious about something. You want your leaders to be humble. You know what I mean? That humble power. They don't have to brag. We just showed you what we can do. Our mouths don't need to move. Our actions proved it. And that's almost every person that I've known that's been in the military. My brother, my friends, my cousins, different people have been in the military. They can do some shit to you. But I've never heard not one of them brag about the shit they can do to you. Not one. That tells you that Donald Trump has never been in the military. He doesn't even have the wherewithal to have the mentality of someone who knows what he or she is capable of, but don't have to brag about it. Could have just stopped that. We pulled off a successful thing thanks to our warriors. You had to go into nobody else in the world could do it. That is just enough. I mean, that was a little bit over the top for me personally. Now, I'm getting tired of people saying Iran is weak. We said that. People have said that many times that Iran has been weakened. And it's like, we don't know if they're even going to have another strike because, a lot of their stuff is gone. Their air raid stuff is gone. And I'm like, okay, but you act like they're the only resource that they get this stuff from. And over there, they're one of the richest countries over there. So they have reserves of billions of dollars. So they can get back on their feet. Don't act like they broke. And so, I mean, I don't know exactly the full details, but I'm not trusting this bravado. It's all stemming from Trump and administration. The Marco Rubios and people coming out and saying, and Vice President J.D. Vance saying all this bravado shit, and the news is just taking it as, face value. You have to understand, these are the liars in chief. They lie about everything. Everything's small. So thinking something this big, and they need Americans behind them because they're doing shit illegally to even do what they just did. Bypassing Congress, highly illegal. There was no threat to us. No threat whatsoever. Bibi Netanyahu and Israel has been talking about this shit since the 80s, early 90s or some shit. Even the leaders back then, they've been talking about Iran forever because they fear them. And rightfully so. You're a gnat as far as country size. You're a gnat compared to them. But you guys have all these America, all these people with all these weapons on it. If they had nukes, you wouldn't have fucked with them like that. And that's their survival. See, I'm of the one that thinks, I'm of the mindset is this. I don't understand everybody's mentality, right? I'm just going to speak on mine. If I'm at war with you and you come up and blow up my shit, and I'm not at war with you personally, you got somebody else to jump in our war. I don't care how powerful they are. But you have them bomb our shit. And then they just bounce and say, oh, we done. No, it ain't no one and done, bro. That shit ain't gonna happen. If I don't get you today, I promise you I'm gonna get you tomorrow. If I can't get you tomorrow, I'm getting you next week. If I can't get you within a year, I'm getting you 5 years down the road. But you ain't bypassing this shit. This shit's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. And for them to think that these people are just gonna sit back and not be strategic, nah. That's why Donald Trump's in a bunker right now, because he know they fucking around and take his ass out. And then he comes out and says he's got another True Social, the one that came out after that. And this one, when I saw this, I was like, okay, let's see what this is all about. He was all, bragging about his shit. The sites that we hit in Iran were totally destroyed. Nobody has information. It's called the IE something. I forgot the international group that goes in and checks out like radiation and different things like that, because the radiation can kill populations. Just the idea of it leaking or anything like that. So bombing it, putting it in the air for miles, people could die. So these organizations go in, at least this one organization goes in and checks it all out. and they haven't been able to, well, they started to go in, but then they've been told that they can't go in right now or continue doing what they were doing. So we're still in limbo. They don't know the full extent of what happened. But the actual Iran and all that says that we got some of it out, and they proved it by showing a picture, or at least made us believe it by showing that. We don't know what that is, but that's what they say it is. But you got to think about it. Donald Trump gave them, said 2 weeks, 2 weeks. They said 2 weeks. These people had enough time to get out. They took that as a warning, I'm sure. All right. So if they got out a little bit, from what I've heard from a few scientists that spoke today that are in the nuclear world, said they got enough to make, I forgot what it's like, a level 1 or something like that. I don't know the exact terminology is at the top of my head right now, but which means the bomb that they made, that we made and sent over to Japan, the only people who've actually launched one of these things and used it, that bomb is old but powerful, of course. They can make that bomb. Like right now. All they need is a few things and they can make that one. But the ones they develop with technology and all stuff like that, being able to, hit targets and all stuff like the more technically savvy one, the GPS and all that shit, they can't do that. But they can go load one up and build it. If they weren't going to build it, you best believe they're going to do it now. And here's the thing. Now that they did this, they're going to go underground, which they already have. They don't know where these nuclear weapons, if that is true that it happened based off that photo, they won't know where it's at. So the organization, the international organization that checks everybody's stockpile who has, nuclear waste or anything, using it for electricity, nuclear energy, or even, for bombs and so forth, they're all through an international group that would tell you like what everybody's levels are, so forth. Well, they're no longer in that group. You just bombed them. They bounced. So now what's up? They could be making one right this minute. They could literally drop one on Israel tomorrow or a week from now. If that's the end. But like I said, for me, I'm getting you back eventually. Ain't no dissipating on this shit. You just destroyed billions of dollars that we just spent, and we told you we weren't trying to build no bomb. And then our intel says, in the United States intel, they're not building a bomb. Not even trying. Other intel from other countries, not building a bomb that we see. They just banned that area in which you make it. They just banned that. Don't see it. And here it is, at least 3 sources that are our allies and our own fucking country say it's not happening. This fool listens to Bibi Netanyahu, who's been saying this shit since he was in his fucking 30s or 40s, whatever the fuck. Saying the exact same shit. There's video all over the internet of this man saying the exact, it's going to be weeks. It's going to be a week. It's going to be maybe 2 weeks. They got 2 days. They got this all years upon years, 1990, 2000s, 2010s, 220s. He's saying the same shit. And Donald Trump was the dipshit that believed it. He's the one that believed it. Remember the first time he was in office, we had people who knew what the fuck they were doing in the military that was riding along Donald Trump but making better decisions. Now he's in there with a bunch of dipshits that just do what he tells them to do. And there's no guardrails to tell this man it's a dumb move. Don't do it. Just don't. He wants accolades, wants to get him a little trophy for doing something, pat on his back, and he goes out and does some stupid shit that we didn't even have to worry about. If you can't listen to our intel, why the hell are they there? Give the job to somebody else. That if you don't care about America's safety, you can just close the whole damn thing down. I don't want that to happen because I want to live. But if you're not going to listen to them, you might as well just say it effectively, they're not there. They're just not there. Donald Trump is saying that, he wants accolades. He said the sites are only fake news would say anything different in order to try and demean as much as possible. His feelings are getting hurt. That they won't run with the narrative without the facts first. You got to have the facts. You can't have, say like, oh, well, this is going to happen or that's going to happen without facts. We don't know what's going on. And the way we can be safe is that we do get intel. Listen to people who get information. That's what they do. We got people embedded in these countries giving us information. And they're risking their lives to get us this information. We got probably bugs everywhere, satellites everywhere, high-tech shit, listening to things, interpreting things, got people working on things, intercepting emails, all that. And this man is listening to who? The people that we're listening to? Tell him the opposite? I don't trust Bibi Netanyahu, period. We should not be doing work with him at all. None. I don't care what anybody says. This man is disingenuous. This guy, Trump, goes on and on talking about, fake CNN. He's going after different people who are, Concast. The biggest con, he's going to call somebody else con. It's just insane. Fake ABC News. I mean, and he's talking about these people are all-time low. Their ratings are bad, zero credibility. I don't give two shits about their credit or their ratings. I listen to them. I go research it. And then I figure out, like, what's the truth? I don't take what they say as gospel. And that's the difference between us and them. Us who seek facts and them who seek feelings. It's hard for me to give a fuck about anything somebody says if it's not rooted in fact. If you got a theory or some kind of conspiracy theory or some shit, like, man, get that shit out of my face. I don't know nothing about that shit. It can't be validated. It's in your brain. It's in your heart. That's on you. But if you got some facts to back it, I'm willing to listen. But ain't no facts, but just feelings. Man, you better go tell that to your dog or cat, some shit. Nobody want to hear that. I got a brain. I'm not trying to be having you put crazy shit in mine and then I'm supposed to just react to it. No, give me the facts so I can go look them up. Give me a source so I can go look it up and compare those sources with other sources. You know how many times a Republican or MAGA-minded person has told me something and said, oh, I got it from here, and I go look at it. I do depth shit, you know what I'm saying? I'll go look at them and, where's this source coming from? Where did they get this information from? Then I dig deeper. Where's this website from? I don't know this website. It's a conservative website. Then you go in, if you never heard of whois.org, this ICANN, it's who regulates internet websites. You can look it up at any time. Who is, and it's all about finding out where a website was built. Where's it from? A lot of times they'll buy addresses or whatever it may be to kind of throw you off. But it used to be very simple. You just open it up, look at it. Oh, this is Vietnam. This is Russia. This is that. I'm like, dude, why don't you listen to American news? You go to obscure websites to find shit that fits your narrative. You don't look for the actual truth. Half of them don't know how to look for truth. Their way of looking for truth is looking for something to validate what they already feel. That's why you can't spend your time talking in circles with those people, because they don't listen to anything other than their feelings. And if nothing validates their feelings, then it's not true. No matter what. It could be right in their face, the truth doesn't validate my feelings, so it's not true. I ain't got time for that. That's stupid stuff. That's childish. If I can't be right, nobody can be right. It's just insane. So now, after everybody said, hey, look, we don't know whether, Iran, their nuclear sites got, bombed to like smithereens, or whether it's like they got away with some stuff, or if they hit the target, maybe it blew up some of it and they got more than enough to make one of the little small first level bombs, if that's what they feel like doing. I mean, if they didn't before, I'm pretty sure they feel like it now. People gotta understand, not necessarily this country, because I've done a little research on Iran, and they're not like the culture that wants to, like, you know, die and they say for their cause, like strap on a, you know, an incendiary device and walk into a mall. They're not usually, that's not that their thing, but they will, you know, go to war with you and have no problem with that. But in this situation, we don't know. When you get cornered, you change. You get cornered, you change. It's like anything else. If you got cornered right now by something, I don't care what it is. If it was bigger than you, even a bear, at some point you're gonna realize, all right, it's gonna be me or the bear, dog, because he gonna eat me anyway, coming toward me, and I ain't gonna sit here and wait. I ain't gonna wait. I'm gonna try and do something, scream, do something, but I ain't gonna sit here and just let him just chew on my liver. That ain't gonna happen. I'm dying with a fight, and that's any human being that gets cornered. You may not do it just because of fun of it, but when you get cornered, you're gonna do some crazy shit, and that's where they are now, based off of what people are saying, that they're cornered. So you got to watch out for what they're doing. That's why they put a high alert on some cities in the United States, which I didn't know about until probably about a good hour ago. It wasn't like they notified everybody about it. It was on like a news clip, and only one station that I could find that was said it at all. I don't know how real it is, but check it out. Make sure there's any more sources that have said it since I found it like less than an hour or so ago. But I don't understand all this crazy shit that's going on right now. These people voted for a man that everything they said they voted for him for, he's already fucked up. They never listened to the fact that we said Trump is a fuck up. I mean, come on. 6 casinos, bro. 6? Well, 5, one of them twice. 6 bankruptcies. 5 casinos. And you had no problem giving a man that obviously can't finance shit or can't work with finances worth a damn. Most people don't know. Most of the time, his bankruptcies is because he bought the property way too high. And then after buying it, he went and got loans to throw gold all over this bitch. And so he made it all gaudy. The people who are coming to, especially in like Atlantic City, man, they coming. Y'all seen most of the people who go, and I ain't trying to disrespect none of y'all, but y'all don't see if y'all went to, you know, that's in, I think, New Jersey. But if you look at like Vegas, I can't compare New Jersey because I've never been to that, Atlantic City. But the people who normally go to casinos, they smoking cigarettes and got their little cup with their little quarters or 50-cent pieces or whatever, $50 pieces, and they just sitting there smoking. Ding, 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 pulling their lever. They ain't giving 2 flying shits about gold to the left and gold to the right. If anything, putting gold like that, real shit, around gamblers, they coming with like fucking, you know, like different types of tools, screwdrivers, flathead screwdrivers, prying some of that gold off and taking it with them. They ain't coming to look at it. These people are going broke, losing their entire lives in these damn joints. You think they're going to look at gold and be like, I wonder if it's real. Of course they are. It's for with, he thought he was building a hotel, like a lavish hotel instead of a casino. This gaudy shit over it. He spent, for at least one of them. Each one of them was crazy. But I remember one, he spent $230 million for it. Back then, way too much, right? Then this fool went and spent 3 times almost as much in uplifting it. Almost $600 million. If not over. I think it was like almost $700 million. He was literally in debt for $1 billion. I mean, how about you get it? Get people to come, and as they come, you start making some money, then improve it. little by little. Take a section, rebuild it. Take another section, rebuild it. Let some of your income coming in, your revenue coming in, rebuild it. Then get a loan and then finish it or something like that. But no, this fool went all out. And I mean, within months of that thing opening up, they went bankrupt because they had like a $90 million balloon payment or something crazy like that. This man could not afford to do it. You couldn't foresee that? You couldn't foresee spending $1 billion back in the day when you could have got a nice, brand new casino for probably a good $75 million. And this fool spent $240 million for it. And you want that running the country. I'm like, all I ask MAGA to do, even though you love this man now, do me a favor. Just go read up on your boy. Just go read up on him. See how he did his stuff. Go check him out. And while you're at it, check out his pops, Fred. Check him out. Shiesty. Check him out, though. You don't even know who you got in bed with. You got in bed with full-on herpes. Full on. All y'all bumped up. It's ridiculous. You have no idea the disease you caught fucking around with Trump. Oh, that shit's hilarious. They fucking around with full-on herpes up in here. But we're going to see. Let me get this started. Get y'all up here. Make sure I can get this thing set up. Oops, there we go. But it's just insane. There you go. That we're dealing with Donald Trump. But we got to figure out a way to get through this shit. But in that situation, Donald Trump was all hurt because in the news media, they didn't give him credit. They haven't verified it yet, dipshit. But he wants them to give him credit. You got to validate me. No. But Fox is over there validating the hell out of him. Fox is verifying the crap out this man. And, they're the ones who kind of like got us into it in a way. They were ones that was the only group on the news or any kind of media that was like, he has no other choice but to go to war. You have to do it. I don't like it, but we're going to have to do it. They had so many pundits say that. And I'm like, what the hell y'all talking about? Why are we getting to a war when they talk about having weapons that they've been talking about having, these people have been having for 40 years? And here's another thing that trips me out is that there's a agreement under Obama, right? That didn't allow in one of those places, the one that started with an F. It was at the top of my head, I can't remember the name of it, but the place that we just mentioned, there's 3 different locations where they bombed at. One of those locations under that Obama deal with Iran, they couldn't even have nuclear anything. So how did they end up getting any kind of nuclear energy or anything at all in that particular location? Donald Trump's first presidency. He came in and tore up the deal with Iran and said it was trash. Didn't put nothing else in place, so it gave them opportunity to start doing nuclear, like developing this nuclear energy in all 3 locations. But under Obama, they only can do, they couldn't do it in one location at all. And they were negotiating about not doing it in the other 2. Instead of improving upon that negotiation, he came in and ripped it up. So that's why they have what they have now. They tricked me out that you got a president in Donald Trump who's the reason why they were even able to even start building anything nuclear there. Because under the Obama thing, it was like a no-go for one, and the other 2 we had to negotiate. And Donald Trump didn't continue to negotiate to say no for the other one and no for the third one. He cuts it up, doesn't develop anything else. And now you're bombing them after you gave them permission to do what they were doing. When Obama said no, you said go. And now Israel is saying again, hey, they're building this, they're building that. Same shit he said in the 80s and 90s. And now he's got a fool in Trump to do it. It took a fool. The first time, like I said, Donald Trump was in, he was a fool. He probably wanted to do it. But he had people in office in the military were saying, no, Esper, Mark Esper and all of General Milley, nope, can't do it. And now it has the sycophants. Pete Hegseth, the Sunday or Saturday weekend news reporter on Fox, is the dude making decisions about our life. This dude had poor decisions to be on Fox on the weekend news to begin with. Alcoholic, rapist, cheating on his wife, and it just degenerate people leading us. The most horrific people on the planet leading us. We all make mistakes. Nobody say anybody's perfect. But these people have made mistake after mistake and has never taken responsibility for their mistakes. That's just ew. And that's what Donald Trump and all the rest of them are doing. They're making mistakes. We're all human. We can make them. But there's a legal way to go about this. Congress. I don't know about anybody else, and I don't know what's going on with the Democrats and what they can do. Thank you. Please hit the like button. Thank you very much, DJ, for the donation of $5. I don't know what all can be done because we got ourselves in this little quagmire, but you got to think about how we're going to move forward. I mean, we can protest, we can donate money, we can do certain things, but our voting power is one. Our protest power is another. You know, our First Amendment. But it's like, again, Democrats really don't have an answer because society, us Democrats did our job. But the kids who were all, pro-Palestinian, but not realizing that Donald Trump wanted to build a hotel and kill all their people, even though he said this shit pretty much while running, they just couldn't stand this black woman for some reason, whom said that she was going to do what she said she was going to do was save them, basically. And they said, nah, fuck that. I don't want to be saved. I want to be my whole people just annihilated. I want to go with Trump. They didn't believe the words that came out this man's mouth. That's the thing that kills me. Do you understand the words that are coming out his mouth? And they did not. They thought those words were meant for others and not for them. As long as you had a red hat on, you was protected. Like you had this shield that didn't show that you was Latin. I mean, it's sad and funny at the same time for some of these people who are all in front of these mics, all over. I will vote for Donald Trump, making a song out of it, having a good old time, laughing, playing around. I know they ate some Riz and tater salad and all the shit. They had a great old picnic and shit with the big red hat on, all excited. And then everybody's telling them and their family and friends, you voting for the wrong person. Nah, you don't know what you're talking about. And now crying and shit on camera, pissed off and shit. I mean, like I told you, if you ain't dealing with facts, I ain't got no feelings for you. I got no feelings for the ones that are crying. Not unless you voted for Kamala and you're going through it. Because it was your people and stupid people that you didn't try to reach out to. Because they would have listened to you. They weren't going to listen to us. You need to get your own people to go in. They weren't listening to us. They don't like us. The ones who didn't vote for Kamala didn't like us. Y'all should have had a campaign to say, hey, let's vote for this, whatever reason. You thought that immigration wasn't going to be so bad? I mean, think about it, y'all. The first time he was president, immigration was so bad that there are still to this day at least 1,500 families that don't know where their babies are. They got shipped throughout the United States. And as far as we know with Donald Trump, they might be in a prison somewhere, grown-ass prisoners right now. We thought they was in different states, but we don't know. We don't know where they at. Think about that. The invasion of the baby snatchers. They took babies. We don't know where the fuck they at. How would you feel if you right now, Your kid got taken almost 8 years ago, whatever it's been, 6 years ago, and your baby will be what, 16 now, 20 for some, 12 for others, and the last time you saw them, they were babies, and they're damn near teenagers now. They may have children right now. You have no fucking clue where your baby is. All because you came to a country to get away from another one that was trying to kill you. That's what Donald Trump did the first time. Horrific. And they thought, let's try that again. Boy, you don't. I can't believe that your brain thought like, he'll be better after he showed you he was worse the first time. Ooh. I'm telling you, I understand the First Amendment. I get it. But at some point, I feel like we need to throw in like a clause in that bitch. You got to be able to pass some kind of test. I mean, come on. If you that damn stupid that you can't even figure out for yourself that voting this way is going to get your ass snatched up off the street, I'm like, they too slow. They too slow. Don't let them vote. We got you. Trust me, we got you. We'll vote for you. We got you. Because you don't know your own best interest. And that's tripped out. You don't know think about this for a second. How smart can you be that you don't even know your own self-interest? Not at all. You have no clue. And if you have a clue, you overrode it with something else. What is more important than your own self-interest? Your baby's self-interest, your husband's self-interest, your wife's self-interest. What is more important than that? And you couldn't make an educated decision, a survival decision for your own people, so much that you must have had something that's stronger than your love of self. Think about that. You made a decision to hurt yourself because something else in your life pissed you off more than you loved yourself. You had a choice to love yourself and you chose the opposite. You had a choice for happiness and you chose pain. You chose it because the man said he was going to do it. There ain't no mystery in what Trump is doing. He said it verbatim. How did you think they were going to get rid of millions of people? Democrats were saying it the entire time. Dude, that's going to cost so much, you ain't going to be able to do that. Let's come up with some common sense immigration laws and try and figure it out. Let's figure out a solution. Not that they did a great job, 100% themselves, because again, I truly believe that if we really wanted to solve it, we got too many bright people in this country. We could have solved this a long time ago. I don't think either party wants to solve this immigration thing. I think they want to use it as a wedge to get you to vote for them. Think about it for a second. If the immigration wasn't there, what would we be talking about? Finances, economics, okay? If we stop thinking about top-down economics, right? It's never worked. When I say never, I mean never, ever, 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 ever worked. So tell me you run into a wall, you're going to back up and run back into that bitch? Come on now. At some point in time, decades of running into a wall and that wall ain't moved, you might want to walk around that bitch, right? Do something else. Try and fly. Get a friend to lift you over the damn thing, but not run right back into it. Top-down economics is running right back into the same wall. Now, other way of being able, they say, from the bottom up and the middle out and all this stuff like that, these different phrases that they want to use, that has worked. But does it work fully? Like 100%? It's still better than the other. So you got two systems. One works, but it's slow still. The other one never works, but is professed to be the best system by Republicans all the way back since Reagan. I'm a Reagan Republican. It don't mean shit to me. Reagan sucked. And they know Reagan sucked. He raised taxes like 19 fucking times. Because he gave away so much money, they needed to raise taxes to get shit back in order to some degree. And it still sucked by the time he ended. He wasn't a conservative person. They spent more than they made. They created things they couldn't pay for, said that it would pay for itself, and it never does. Doesn't even come close. Just adds to the deficit, adds to our national debt. The thing I think we got to do in this country is come to a grips of what is true and what is false. Because we're arguing with people who think false shit is true. And that ain't gonna never win. But the problem is, I believe, is that the ones who saying false shit is true, their idiocy is seeping over into other groups of people who are either nonpartisan and they want to listen to both sides, so they start listening to stupid shit and not really doing any homework on it. Saying, divisive stuff like, oh, Democrats used to own slaves and blah, 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 but conflate, like, you do know there was a switch of party. Things of like that they try and get each other to go at each other over stupid stuff. And it's like, you know what? Let's just push all that shit aside real quick. That's the past. How are we moving forward? How are we moving forward? Let's deal with facts. If you can't back it up with a source, let it go. Until you can. Because I look back, I'm like, man, when was the last time this country, before Donald Trump, where we had some sense of like common sense? You know what I'm saying? There were things back in the day, and you may have to go way back to like Walter Cronkite or some shit. But I honestly miss the days, not necessarily how our world was, because there's a lot of lies going on back then, but where we were not so much aware of everything, but we had a common set of truths that you could research, and these things were true, and everybody kind of believed it. Economy, they always had like a slant on it. You kind of understood where they were going with these things. But it was the feeling more so. We're more awake now, which is good. But the thing is that people who are awake see what's going on, and those other people are still stuck in the past of like believing everything. We don't have any Walter Cronkites today. We got a bunch of people who work for money. People don't understand that news wasn't really a profitable game back then. It was all about getting you the news, right? They had very little profit. Then they started going toward profit. Then the propaganda came out. Whoever gives me the most money, I tell that story. And that's Fox 150 million%. I can't stomach watching Fox for so many lies. I told you, I am like allergic to liars. So when I get on, I'll watch Fox just to kind of catch up so that you don't have to. And I'll watch it. I'm like, that's a lie. That's a lie. Because I don't research this shit. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. And I promise you, within an hour, they're lying like every 3 minutes. And I'm sitting there like, dude, how could you watch this shit without checking none of it? And depending on whose show it is, they're live for the whole hour. Sean Hannity, you can't trust a fucking word that dude says. He'll slant anything. It's blue. Well, it was bluish some one day. It's red the next day. No, it's always blue. He'll slant it, lie about it, and try to catch you in a lie. But I know people don't like Gavin Newsom, but I love when Gavin Newsom ripped into that fool. Had him all spun out like a crackhead. He didn't know what to say. But when you was doing this, he said, no, I wasn't really this. I was doing bow, 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 bow. He was just hitting him with fact after fact after fact. Sean Hannity couldn't do nothing. He was just trying his best to come up with shit. He sounded like that dude on the street, like squirrels eat peanuts. That's what he sounded like, crazy as shit. Had him looking mad nuts. He's just making up shit. Kind of like how Tucker Carlson had Ted Cruz. This fool got all into the Bible because he couldn't fix shit himself. The Bible says, shut up, man. You ain't reading no damn Bible. You ain't reading no damn Bible. Don't give me that shit. Don't even know where it came from in the Bible. Somewhere in the Bible where it came from. You so much in the church. What verse? What verse was it? You and your damn president with your 2 Corinthians. And somebody probably told him how to say Corinthians. Fool don't know how to say that shit. Barely can say coffee. French fried taters. Who Janet. That's funny. Oh, did you guys hear the Supreme Court? It's terrible. It's like the Supreme Court came up with a ruling today that allows Trump to resume deporting these migrants to countries other than where they're from. Other than where they're from. That's crazy. You're going to send somebody someplace that they didn't come from because they're here. Now, let's say you was doing that to protect them because they would go back to the other place they died and you send them to another country. And maybe that'll work. But no, they're sending them to prisons in the other country. What does that sound like to you? That's slavery. You're sending them to prisons or detention centers. And what's going to happen to them? These fools are going to be making shirts and hats for the corporations in that company, in that country. In other countries as well. They're giving them labor. These men and women are going there because they want a new life, and now they're entrapped in some place for indefinite times for doing absolutely no crime. If you're going to send them to the other country, then send them to be a citizen there. Why are you sending them to be prisoners there? You didn't catch them in a crime. There was no due process. And our Supreme Court said they can continue doing that. While at the same time, they had a previous ruling that negated this ruling, saying that they have to have due process. These people have to have due process. Then turn around and say you can continue sending them out there. The fuck is that? Doesn't make any sense. Who was in here that said something that says, don't confuse a lie with getting a dose of someone else's perspective. I don't conduce, if you're talking to me, because I don't know who you're talking to, because I didn't see you respond to anybody. Who's that Gen X storyteller? Nah. I listen to other people's perspectives. But there's no such thing as your perspective is the truth. If 1 + 1 is 2, and you have a perspective that 1 + 1 looks like it could be 22, you're an idiot. I'm not going to sit here and take your perspective on facts. It's not a perspective. I ain't saying that this situation is, but if we both look at something and say, oh, getting a 18 point whatever percent interest rate on a credit card, man, that's just too high. Well, if you have bad credit, can't get it, then perspective wise, it could be a good thing because it can help you build credit. But for somebody who has good credit, you're crazy as fuck. Who's doing that for 18%? That's a perspective. Even though we're both focused on the truth that it's 18%, that's one thing. But to have a different perspective on facts, nah. You ain't gonna tell me that 18.9%, and then you're gonna be like, it looks like 1.89%. No, fool. The period is after 8. The period is after 8, so that's 18.9. Looks like 1.89 to me. Then you're an idiot. There's no perspective on that. That's the problem that we have with MAGA, is that they're seeing 1.89 when you see 18.9. It's like, dude, how? Where your fact at? I'm looking right at it. Everybody else sees it. And MAGA sees the opposite of truth. We're not talking. That's the thing that gets me about this whole thing with MAGA and people who just want to act like, I know people, I'm no longer friends with them because of the fact that what Trump brought out into them that I didn't realize they were beforehand is that they had to be right even when they were wrong. So when they were wrong, they couldn't accept it. So their mind just fucking crashed. And they was like, well, because again, you're wrong, not because I know everything, because look, let's look it up together. Boom, 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 bow. Answer. Your answer is not this one. Where'd you get your information from? I don't need, there you go, right there. You don't need nobody to validate the shit that's in your head. Fine. Then spit the shit in your head to somebody who's in your head. But don't spit it to another human being if you can't validate it. That's the problem. There's no validation for MAGA. They just make up shit. And then they get other people to believe the made up shit. And you say, where's your facts at? Well, I believe it. Tom believes it. Becky believes it. Okay, but where do y'all get your facts? Well, Tom is my fact and Becky's my fact. No, y'all a bunch of idiots. There ain't no facts between you. The number's over here. The fact is here. I sought it. There it is. Fact. I report the fact. You want to come up with your feelings and say the fact ain't what it is, but they have no verification. None on your side. And I'm not saying this is about you, Gen X. I'm just saying that people who have this type of affliction, your story, what you believe is not factual, then keep that shit to yourself. Nobody want to hear it. Who cares about what the fuck you believe if you ain't got no facts behind it? That's that mystical shit. Oh, I believe it's going to rain. Really? How'd you find out? Did you get a machine and find out, like, the moisture in the air? Nope. My cousin's niece's nephew's dog farted, so now I know it's going to rain because every time he farts, it rains. You're a fucking idiot. There's no fact in it, just feeling. Didn't have no meteorological shit at all. Just out of your brain. That's what MAGA does. That's why we can't stand them, because they don't fucking deal with facts. They deal with fucking fiction to make themselves right. If you really, here's the thing. Before Tucker Carlson went off on Ted Cruz, if you watch Tucker Carlson back in the day, you would literally think this man needs to be in a straitjacket. If you got common sense and you heard him speak when he was on Fox, the shit he was just coming out of his ass with, no factual basis whatsoever, he would belong in a straitjacket. In the 60s, oh yeah, they would have picked his ass up and threw him in a fucking long ass truck, put him in 4 white walls, the shit he was saying, with no validation. It was just out of space shit. He needed like a aluminum hat for the shit he was saying. And he had to have known he was saying batshit crazy stuff. But the people who were listening to him, I'm like, how do you believe this shit? It is so easy. It's crazy. Especially with the MAGAs, you literally, I'm like, look, bro, let me just look up the video. This is what Trump said. Just look at his face. This is what he said. I'm just saying what he said. I saw him say it live. You may have missed it. Here's what he said. And they'll be like, he didn't say that. I'm like, that's him. What the fuck are you talking about? He didn't say it. And they'll sit there and tell you that it's not real. I'm like, wow, there's something fucking wrong with you. You can't look at facts anymore and determine that they're facts. Or it could be AI. It aired on the news, man. Multiple stations. He tweeted about it back in 2016. He said it over and over again. He said it on the stump. Was he an AI at one of his own stumps that he repeated this shit? No. Then you're the dipshit. Please stop trying to be like, I know what I'm talking about. No, you don't. You do not. Mike's gone. Good night, Mike. Is it woke, Mike? Good night, Mike. I don't know where you're going. Take care, bro. Have a good one. Always a pleasure. But yeah, that type of stuff, I went on that for a minute, but I get tired of people trying to justify. One of the terms that I've grown to hate, really grown to hate in this new world of ours, is the term, or 2 words, both sides. I hate that shit with a passion, because I'm like, take responsibility for what the fuck you did. They both side shit so you can negate it. I'm like, no. If a Democrat did something wrong, I'm on his ass. Her ass. I'm on him. Republican did something wrong, I'm on him. I ain't gonna sit here and be like, well, this person did it, so you can do it. No. You did something like in the past 2 like assassinations or past 3 assassinations or assassination attempts have been from Republicans. And when it happens, they both sides of shit, or they'll blame the other side. Oh, look, it's got to be Republicans, it's got to be Democrats, but it's got to be Democrats. And it's not. And they never recant it. They put out the lie, boom. Then all of a sudden, the whole world believes in the nonsense. Oh, that was a Democrat. I'm like, no, he wasn't. He's a registered Republican. No. I'm like, where's your facts at? Show me the document that shows me that he's a Democrat. Where's he registered as? I got the document. Here it is. Boom. They look at it. That's fake. I'm like, so give me yours, whether it's real or fake, we can determine. Where's yours at? I don't need one. Oh, you don't need one, but I need facts on my side. You got your feelings, and then your feelings become facts. That's the shit that bothers me, is when you can't back it up. There's 2 things. Either you're not smart enough to know what the fuck the truth is, or you devious enough to not give a fuck what the truth is because you want your feelings to be facts. Either way, you're a sucky human being, because you should easily be able to find out common sense and put it like, you know what? This is true, and this is true, and this is true. Have your opinions about the truth. Like I said, 18 point whatever % high on a credit card may be high for you. But for someone with really bad credit, it's amazing, because I know I'm not, if I was a situation, I'm like, I'm not going to spend any money on this, whatever. You got a high percentage because you didn't have credit before. That's like when you get kids in college, they'll take that 18, 24%. But if you got money, got a house or a nice apartment, or shit, 18 is crazy. 18.9, we got it. Both of us look at that as a fact. We can have our own opinion about it, as long as we stick to the fact, the foundation. That's the problem with MAGA. There's no foundation of fact. It's just made up shit. Made up. Out of nowhere. Out of whole cloth most of the time. Out of whole cloth. Out of whole cloth, they'll make up shit. You'd be like, what the hell? And you wouldn't know. You know, like, and I don't understand how anybody falls for that. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I mean, this is where I was built. I don't like anybody lying to me at all, because it tells me, think about this for a second. If somebody lies to you, that means they don't like you. And definitely means they don't like themselves, because they can't face up to what the fuck they really are. If you're lying about how much money you got, you can't stand the fact that you're either broke or not as rich as you want to be. Why can't you celebrate where you're at now so that you can celebrate where you're going to be? But instead, you want to lie about who you are so you can make yourself feel better. Something's mentally wrong. There's a disconnect. When you see Donald Trump lying about the simplest shit that can be proven to be a lie, then a group of people that look at it and can be proven that they're being lied to, they choose the lie over being liberated with the truth. Something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. Mentally, something's wrong with you. Go seek a therapist, because there is something wrong with somebody who doesn't get offended that a person doesn't have enough love, respect, honor to be able to be straightforward with you. That human being is not trustworthy. If that person can lie to you with a straight face, you don't need to be around that person. Those are the type of people that you need to get out of your life, because they ain't gonna do nothing but destroy your life. And just like Donald Trump lies to their face, what's going on? Finances are going crazy for these people. All of us, really, in a sense. These major right, like what do you call it? Red states. Think about it. The red states can't stand the blue states for shit, but the blue states are the richest states in the country. The majority of people on like substances, like not substance, but subsidies or whatever it may be, or getting money from like for farming or for unemployment, for you know the entitlement programs. They put brown faces on them. They put immigrants on them. They put black people on them. By the millions, it's white people on them. They don't even think that it's them that would get hurt the most. When I mentioned earlier, know the real truth And you won't vote against your own interests. You'll vote for them. But you're so quick to believe the bullshit because you too have a disdain for a certain group of people whom you think are getting over, and you worked your butt off and you can barely get over. And the reality is the people in your neighborhood are the ones that are mostly getting it. That Becky or Tom or Mary down the road, you waving at, thinking that they getting by because they got farm, they on welfare. You too may get some every once in a while through a subsidy or something. That's a welfare. That's government money given to you that you don't have to pay back. Welfare. But you got issues with people of color getting it. But as long as you're poor and white, you ain't got no problem with it. Because if you did, you'd be pointing out the people who are on it the most. White people are on welfare more than any other culture in America. And so when you shoot yourself in the foot and say, let's get rid of Medicaid, let's get rid of this, and you turn out, wait a minute, I'm on that shit. Yeah, you are. You may not know it, but yes, you are. Your insurance program, you're getting subsidies so that you can be able to pay less for your insurance. Yes, you are. So when Donald Trump and they pass this shit, yeah, your shit's going to skyrocket. Be prepared for that. But what makes you not look into what's going to fuck your life up or fix your life up? What makes you stop loving yourself so much that you're willing to hate on somebody else even though it fucks you over? Maybe a little bit more or less than them, depends. Don't do the homework. Do the hate work. Whatever they can get you to hate, that's what you're on. I hate the fact that they're getting a job and I'm not. They're getting a job for $8. You want a $35, $50, $60 an hour job. You aren't in the same league. The problem with that is that rich people aren't hiring you. And your loyalty is to the rich dude that's saying fuck you and wants you to work the same job for $20. But you're pissed off at the person picking strawberries for like $1 a fucking pound. Not even that. 10 cents a pound, leaving with $100 in a day. After they don't pick 1,000 pounds of fucking strawberries, which you would never do. But they can get you so quick to hate these people based off of telling you that you're losing something. The only way you can lose something if rich people just decide not to give it to you and tell you they're giving it to them. They're not. These people are living in squalor. 17 people to a fucking 1-bedroom apartment, and you think they're taking from you. How slow do you have to be to realize they're not? People say, oh, well, they get these construction jobs and blah, 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 blah. I say, yeah, they do. They do get in these unions. Some of them do and get these construction jobs. But then again, what you mad about? All they did was apply. It was a rich, mostly white guy that said, ooh, I want Juan instead of John. Is it Juan's fault? No. It's the boss's fault, but you ain't got no smoke for the boss. You got smoke for the person who got the job that didn't put the billionaire or millionaire, in a headlock and said, give me the job over the white dude, or I'm going to rub your hair out or some shit. Didn't do that. But that's the way you make it seem. Like they forced this rich white dude to give him a union job and not you. It's them that causes the problems. And it's you that listens, not you personally, but if you're in this world, I'm talking about you. It's you that gets mad at the person receiving the job and not pissed off at the one who's giving it. You think taking them out of the country is going to stop billionaires from seeking cheap labor? You need to go after the billionaire. Change the shit, change the game, stop repeating the same cycle. Because no matter who comes in, because I'm going to tell you right now, immigrants going to always be here. They brought those white South African immigrants here. You think they ain't going to bring a bunch of poor-ass white South Africans here so they can be like the slave labor? Yeah. Or bring them in and give them a shit ton of money and pay you trash? Wake up. Wake up. Beer's right. The red states need better leaders and education. This country needs better education. This country needs education because, and again, like I said before, in our country, like when I grew up, and I don't know what the age brackets of people were in here, but when I grew up, I'm 54. Education was key. I grew up in a poor community, single mother, and my way out was my education. I was the first one in my family to go to college, first one in my family to make $100,000 a year, things of that nature. First one, first, all that, right? So going through these different processes of being first and fighting, I knew what it was like to go from nothing to something. And that strive. And then when you look at how hard as a black man it was for me to get where I got, from being poor to having something, how hard it was for my sister, who was also a black woman, how hard it was for her to even get opportunities that I got. Very smart woman. She's gone now, God rest her soul. But I believe she's smarter than me. But she didn't have the same opportunities as I did. I got bused to an all-white school, so therefore I got access to things that she didn't get access to. So you kind of see the difference even within my family. I saw the difference of how one person who never really connected with wealthier people in the white community, and the other who was always around wealthy white people or middle-class white people from when I was like in 5th or 6th grade. The difference was vast. Most people think, oh, pull yourself. No, when you grow up in an all-black community and the resources are very low, there is no pull yourself by what bootstrap, where the boots at. Everybody in your neighborhood, like the richest person in your neighborhood may be the person who's actually buying his or her house. Everybody else is leasing it, but they still buying a house in a poor ass fucking community. It ain't like they're buying it in like a suburb or something with all wealthy black people. It's poor rich. Being able to pay the monthly for a house that's still in the projects. It's nice to have it, but you still ain't beating the crime. You ain't beating all the other things that are going on in the community because you're living amongst people who are poor, who can't afford it. So when you see these different things of people fighting to get out, fighting to get out of this poverty or this structure, it's harder. People think it's just work your way up. No. Everybody who's gotten out of the quote unquote hood, it is through education, it is through athletics, it is through entertainment, and it is through science. We're geniuses in many levels: inventions, technology, STEM. So if we didn't have those things, a lot of us would have never made it out. And so when I was growing up, education was a thing that my family and others said that's something they can't take away from you. You need it. And now they're taking it away from people. And it's so strange how they started taking it away once black women achieved almost the fucking impossible. The most hated human being on the planet. The most less opportunity given on the planet. And somehow they rose and became the most educated, at least in America, the most educated being in America. How'd you do that? Congrats to black women for that. But as soon as black women become the most educated in the United States, all of a sudden education ain't worth a damn. Let's get rid of it. Let's stop talking about real truth and shit. Let's make up fake news and fake this and fake facts and all this alternative facts. Why? It's kind of odd that once black women started to rise, all of a sudden education became shit. Once they became the most educated, education ain't worth a damn. We don't need to have education. Get rid of the Department of Education. They would have never gotten as smart as us if we weren't giving them subsidies and shit. So let's take it away, even though it's going to hurt white women, Latin, Asian, and everybody else. Don't make no mistake about it. Because black women became the most educated, education is being attacked. Because black people are becoming aware of their history, their true history, not the whitewash bullshit. and educating good people of all races, colors, and creeds, and giving other people voice to say, to spread the truth about their cultures too, and not the whitewashed version. For the Chinese who are here, other Asian cultures are here, the Irish coming out telling their true story, everybody coming out telling their true story, threatening the shit out of white men. Because it's like, wait a minute, we're not the center of attention anymore? Fuck no, you never were. You wanted it to be that way. The whitewashing made people think that way. But once people become woke, they had to make woke a demonic thing. Because woke just meant you knew the truth. It just meant look over your shoulders, be aware. It meant I don't want to be asleep and walking like this, running into lies. I want to see it coming so I can dodge the lie and find the truth. They want you to walk blind. Don't be woke. Go back to sleep and listen to our bullshit so that you can believe in us and fuck everybody else. That's the part they hate, is the fact that they don't want you educated. They want you dumb. They want you to look at stupidity as the new, merit. Meritocracy is like dumbass people pretending to be smart. Smart people don't deserve it. Think about it. Black people couldn't get jobs in certain positions for many, 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 many years. And now when black women are pilots, black women own their own airlines in certain countries. Like I think South Africa is one lady, or in Africa at least, lady owns her own airline. There's so much going on. Young people are flying across the world that are black and all stuff like that. 13. Oh, no, can't have that. Can't have that. Can't have them rising like that, showing us off. To the point where they even use that term. And there's a reason why they use black women when they use it. When they use this DEI, they use black women. Why? Because they're afraid of them. They've surpassed them in intellect, and they're pissed off about it. Now the new dumbass is the intellect. So we don't care about education anymore. Why not? Because black people are moving faster than we want them to move, specifically black women. Tell me why else would you, in my lifetime, promote education? And then now when stats come out that black women are most educated, we got to push to get rid of education. What else was the catalyst to stop education being number one? All at the same time talking about let's bring more white people in because Americans are too stupid. Elon Musk. Why are Americans so stupid? Because black women are smarter than most of us. Come on, we got to bring in some good white people from other countries to outweigh this. We can't have this happening. All while discrediting them. Every time in history when black people couldn't do anything, they rose and became better. To the point where they couldn't be denied. So if a black woman's a pilot, I feel more safe. Why? Because I know how hard it was for her to become that pilot. I know how much easier it was for that white dude to become that pilot. I don't trust him as much as I trust her. Because I know there's times he done fucked up. They done looked over. That's no big deal. Tom would get it right next time. And I know that she could have just farted on the plane and said, oh, so it's like that. Uh-huh. You trying to take people out with your funk. Okay. All right. Yeah. 3 weeks off. I know damn well, no matter what she did, if it's a hint that she did something even remotely wrong, you pushed the wrong button for 3 seconds. And did anything happen? No. But I had to listen to the beep, beep, beep. And I just can't have you here no more. That's how easy it is for her to get gone. White man could damn near crash the fucking plane, be drunk on the plane. Get it minus, man, you know you shouldn't be doing that. What was you drinking? Vodka. Oh, okay. Here's some brandy. Don't drink on the plane no more. Done deal. He ain't got no problems. Her, fired, probably put in jail for doing the exact same shit. Yes. So a black woman on a plane, I'm comfortable. Because I know that sister got us. White dude, I don't know. Because I know he done got away with a bunch of shit. He done fucked up 100,000 times and they never had nobody say shit to him. He done touched a pilot or a stewardess and they never got no problems with him at all. That shit happens all the time. I know a stewardess where flight attendants get a little frisky. White ones. I don't know about all of them, but I know the ones that I know of were white. They didn't get admonished not a once. Got back on that plane again. My point is, every time certain people of color rise, you hear racist white people start acting like there's something wrong with the fact that we let them in. They would never be here. Why would they never be here? It ain't like your brain is better than anybody else's. They wouldn't be here because your racism is stronger. In your brain, you think that you're supreme, but if she can fly just as good as you, where's the supremacy? She took off, she landed. You take off, you landed. I didn't feel any different when you flew or when she flew. It's in your brain. You think you're better, but you're not. Obviously not. She can't become, black women, the most educated in the country when nobody was giving them anything. They had to take it. It's a lot harder for somebody going from nothing and surpassing people who had every fucking opportunity. Just saying, and these scenarios are my experiences, not everybody's. But I know that I feel more safe with somebody who had to work their ass off to get there. I am a person who's black, and every position I got, I deserved. I was good at it, right? And even though we've gotten jobs, all of us, we've gotten jobs where we had to learn on the job, we came into work and figured it out because we knew as a person of color, it was too easy for them to find one issue and let us go. So we got in, broke open a book, read the manual, tried to surpass everybody. Why? Because just getting an opportunity as a black person, no matter whether you're the best one in the room, you got to keep it that way. While you look at your counterparts who aren't black, fucking up left and right, cracking jokes with the boss, everything's fine and dandy, still got their job, security, and they going out and drinking after work, and you out here, boom, 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 hitting, making the job work, making everything happen. Who do they call when they need somebody? Like fucking Ghostbusters, they call you. Because your black ass sat there and learned everything. They just learned their job. But they get paid more than you. That shit has happened so many times to many of black men and women that I've talked to in my lifetime. People I've worked with, people I've just asked at parties or whatever throughout my life. I'm very inquisitive. I ask people a lot of questions. You know. But anyway, we're going to step off of this. But that's one of the things that I realized. There are times when we in our lives have had to work harder and people call us lazy. It just kills me when I grew up. And I ain't saying that they're doing it now. I haven't heard nobody call me lazy recently. But that stereotype is stuck to the point where people are like, oh, this culture works hard. But black people, y'all, what? Tell me which one of these were slaves, enslaved people. Who worked for nothing? Whose ancestors worked for nothing? No bartering, no chicken or nothing like that. We just had nothing. In this country. None of them. Shut up then. Don't tell me about when you can catch up with my ancestors. I can stop working right the fuck now and live to 100 and still my culture has worked harder than yours. Point blank period. But we don't go out there saying that you guys are lazy. And I ain't saying these people here, but I'm talking about racist people. You know what I'm talking to. You can't tell me you work harder than me, racist people. My culture's worked harder than yours has ever worked. We got a lot of hard work in the bank. We don't have to work at all for the rest of our lives and still work harder than you. You may not like to hear it, then leave, but I'm going to tell the truth. One thing I realized, we're talking about the immigrants and how the Supreme Court allowed them to continue going through what they're going through. You have to be, I don't have to be, but as a black man who knows his history, I didn't always know it. I had to learn it because this country lied to me and my people for so long. When I learned it, it broke me down to realize how much this country had lied to me about my people. It broke me down. I cried. I ain't gonna lie. When I found out how brilliant black people have been in this country, whatever they had to go through, it blew my mind. All these teachers and professors and shit that lied throughout my life. Now, again, they had to lie. There's no way. There's no way. They had to have known the truth. They did the homework. They read all this stuff. You can't tell me you were a teacher and you didn't read any of these books. All you read was McGraw-Hill. You can't tell me that. You had to know that the Statue of Liberty was about the ending of slavery. You can't tell me you didn't know that, being a educated teacher. If you tell me that is the truth, then the professors that I had were stupid compared to what they thought they were. They were in a situation of they were smart about the lies. And if you're teaching somebody, it's just like in a situation that if I am a metal worker and I teach you how to work with metal, but I've never worked with metal, then everything I said is not true. You're fucking gonna get your arm cut off. It's not true. If they told, and therefore you're not a metal worker. You may have tried something, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. If you're a teacher and you learn all the wrong things, yeah, you're right about stupid shit, but what do you know about the truth? Think about it. If I learned all this shit in history, well, my history, well, not my history, American history, and I was making A's and all this shit in history my entire life, I made A's based on lies. Does that really mean I was an A student? Fuck no, it doesn't. All I did was remember bullshit. I was good at remembering stuff. But I remembered the lies. And if I remember the lies and I regurgitate them, and somebody who's smart looks at me like, boy, are you okay? You sound smart, but the shit you saying is stupid as fuck. Then you're really not as smart as you thought you were. If you're regurgitating bullshit, because if you were smart as you thought you were, you would have never trusted what somebody was giving to you. You would have validated what they were saying to you. You would have double checked and triple checked and read the books and been instead of just listening to McGraw-Hill. And that's the great thing about our generations now. Not all of them, but the fact that they're learning the truth and they're getting the actual books, getting Christopher Columbus books and let you know he never set foot in North America. His books tell you, but have America tell you, oh, he's discovered America. No, he didn't. He did not. Think about that. When you think about somebody who says they're smart, but yet though they'll regurgitate to you nothing but lies. But they think they're bright because amongst other liars, they remember more of the lies than that one did. But they're still both spewing lies. And that's the part that also kind of pisses people off is that their intellect is not what it used to be. Now it's like, am I really smart anymore? I'm like, well, you're smart, but you need to relearn what things are. And if you're too lazy to do that, then yeah, you resigned yourself to being stupid. That's on you. That would be on you. What you say? So yeah, so that the idea of these people being kicked out of the country and going wherever they're going to go. And the Supreme Court on both sides of the fence. Oh, you got to give them due process. Oh, you can continue sending them to other countries they're not from. I don't understand why would this other country want these people? If we don't want them, why do they want them? And if it's not a due process, they don't know these people to be criminals, these countries. So why are you imprisoning people that have not had their day in court? You just believe in America saying that they're criminals when America has not validated that they're criminals. There is something highly shady with this. There's something wrong. Due process is what we do. And it doesn't say American citizens get due process. It says people. And at this point in time, them being treated like this, they're being dehumanized. They're not people. They're like cattle. They're like chickens. They're not real to these people. Would you want your child, your husband, your brother to be snatched up like these people are snatching them up? To be beaten down. One of them got beat down, a gardener or something like that, landscaper or whatever, got beat up today. And they're getting charged with crimes They were minding their fucking business. It was them, the armed people with masks that came and attacked people, and they're supposed to just go with you. I'm sorry. I'm telling you 100%. Come up on me in a mask and don't say who the fuck you are. I ain't getting in your vehicle. Fuck are you? I don't know who you are. If you don't tell me where you are, where you from, why would I go with you? I don't know about you, but I'm from old school. I'm 54. When we grew up, I'm shocked, to be honest, quite honest. I had an opportunity to invest in like one of the major businesses that are out there, and only because somebody came to me and asked me about it when I was doing this stuff, and not a lot of money, but just some. And I said no. I'm like, who would want to do that? I mean, that don't even make sense because we were raised a certain way in this country, at least in my family. Not even in my family, in my school even. In my school, they used to tell us, stranger danger. Don't take candy from a stranger. Don't get in the car with a stranger. So a stranger walk up to you, run or scream or, kick them in the ding ding, whatever it may be. Just get away. So when my friend came to me and said, man, there's this new thing called whatever, Uber and other. Dude, I'm like, man, who the fuck gonna get in some stranger's car? Man, you out your fucking mind. I ain't never gonna get in no stranger's person's car. I ride that bitch all the time now. The world just shifted on a different axis. Cause when we was younger, it's like, I ain't getting in nobody's car. You crazy. They ain't snatching me. And now we getting in people's cars. But if I don't know you and I didn't order you up to pick me up, shit, we gonna box. And you can't, and the government though, if a person walks up to you and just starts like accosting you, you have a right to defend yourself. And then you find out it's an officer later because they don't tell you they're officers or anything like that. They just start snatching you up. They don't tell you who you are, where you going. That right there should be a normal reflex that you fighting for your life. And for them to try and charge you for defending yourself because people are grabbing you, what does that say to people? Oh, if some racists decide to throw on some masks instead of a white hood, they decide to go get them some fatigues with some fake ass, letters on the back of it. Say I'm one of them alphabet boys. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Show me a badge, bitch, because if it ain't that, we ain't going. We just gonna have to box this one out. You have to take me out. I am not getting that car with you because I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do to me. And so they're putting these people in all this hell. And I'm like, I don't care who you are, what race you are. How would you feel if somebody picked you up off the street? Why do we have to say this? Why do we have to give people the vision of what if it happened to you? For you to understand it. Why can't people have an automatic, if it happened to me, I wouldn't like this. Stop doing it. Why can't that hit people's brains? That you got to sit there and tell them 1,500 fucking different ways before they realize, oh, yeah, I wouldn't want that. Like, what if they did to you? Oh, I wouldn't know. It wouldn't happen to me. What if they did to your daughter? Oh, it wouldn't happen to them. Your son's like light skinned. He looked pretty. He looked like he could be Latin. What if it happened to him? Oh, see, I guess we should stop. Why did it take that? And these are certain type of conversations I've had too. And I'm sitting there like, why did it take that just because your son is a little darker skinned, his white dude, gets tanned and he looks darker skinned, he looks like he could be Latin. Why does it take for you to look at your son and say, oh, yeah, I wouldn't want that to happen to my son. And then you say don't stop. Then you say stop it. Why does it take that? Why can't you have empathy for people who don't look like you? I've never understood that type of human being. I really haven't. It's been tough for me to kind of understand people like that. You guys, whoever's like that, and I've seen people of all races, colors, and creeds like that, so it ain't one. I've seen a lot of people just have that. If it ain't me, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, but it will be you. You're nobody special. You're human. They're doing this to a human. There ain't nothing different than you and that person except for skin color. But they're doing it to humans. That's not a dog or a cat. And here's the crazy part. If they were doing it for a dog or cat, your ass, most of you guys out there who love animals, you'd be going fucking ape shit. They were snatching up dogs and throwing them in incinerators or some shit. You'd be going off your fucking gore. But they got a human being and you're like, People clapping. I'm like, y'all demons. There's something wrong with y'all. I am not of that type of human. I look at people as humans. I cherish their lives. I cherish their families and say, look, their baby's coming home. I can't sit there and look at these people and realize that their mom and dad must be going through hell. Not unless they are criminals. They do not need to be in jail. And every American should be against this. And the fact that all of us aren't, and we don't know which ones are demons and which ones are not. And yes, I say demons, because if you can watch other people in harm's way get treated like shit, and all they've done has been brown and came to this country, which isn't a felony, it's a misdemeanor, they wouldn't even spend time in jail. They would go through court systems, get a fine or whatever it may be, and kicked out of the country, if they, or even had access, depending on what it is, asylum, to access to the country. That's it. It's only a felony if they've already went through this whole process, got kicked out, and came back. That's when it becomes a felony. Yes, go to jail. You knew what it is or what it was. But see, most Americans don't even know that. They just think they're illegal, just illegal. Oh, they're here, they're illegal. No, they're not. Not at all. There's a process to this. But that's what one thing that bothers me about that is that when we always talk about it, both parties and stuff like that over the years, about let's have a comprehensive immigration reform. Why? Half Americans don't know what the fucking immigration laws are right now. Reforming them to what? You can literally say right this minute, immigration has been reformed. Most Americans wouldn't know that it was the exact same shit that it was yesterday. They would just take your word for it. That's why they never reform the shit. You don't know how it works. The way it works is how they tell you it works. They tell you they're legal, you believe it. When you go look it up yourself, you find out they're not illegal. They're undocumented. Undocumentation is not illegal. It's a misdemeanor at most. And the only thing that would happen is they have to go through the legal system. Even the ones who are quote unquote documented, that don't mean they got jobs here yet, or they can legally get jobs. They got to go and try and get that as well. And when you say necessarily undocumented, it doesn't mean that they don't know who you are, where you're at. It just means that you haven't got the paperwork to be able to be an American citizen in this country. You're in the process of becoming one via asylum, or you came in and they're trying to figure out whether you should have asylum or not. And our court system is so far behind. We're like 1.7 million cases behind, some crazy shit. That's why these people are taking 20 years before they even get their court case. It ain't their fault that they're behind like that. America keeps lying to its people. And they keep dividing people over shit that if America knew the truth, that these people are not illegal, the ones who are need to go, and the ones who are illegal, the ones who came over here and already got kicked out by going through the process, right? And then came back to the country. That's illegal. That's when it becomes a felony. Now, there are people who got to this country and got across, and they're legal because they never went through the process. But how do you find that out? Because those people are not in the system whatsoever. They came across the border. You don't know who the hell they are. They're getting paid by cash, and that's it. So that, yeah. But how many of those are criminals since you don't have any documentations of who they are? You don't know. But these politicians lie because of what you don't know. They can fill your head up with a bunch of bullshit, and you can't validate it, so you believe them. All I say is, be careful where you get your information from. Find credible sources, and usually, if you don't know what a credible source is, look it up. Ask what is a credible source for news? One that has evidence, facts to back it up, resources to back it up. And then you can get closer to the truth than listening to your favorite anchor tell you what's been written for them, because anchors don't write their shit. Somebody else writes it for them, so you know. So you may like your anchor, but your anchor is reading shit that they never wrote, they never researched. It is just shit that's been given to them by a bunch of writers who have been told by a bunch of executive producers what to write based on, most of the time, AP Wire. They'll pull out, oh, this is what they're talking about. They'll read it. They'll call up AP, get some background information from the reporter if they have any additional stuff. If that, rewrite it or keep it the exact same. You ever notice you watch a news station and you can turn to 4 different news stations and you'll realize what they got from AP and what they wrote for themselves. What they got from AP, you'll see ABC in New York, Chicago, Indiana, Mississippi, and you turn it all on at different times and you'll see, today we did this at something, today we did this at something, today we did this at something. They're reading the exact same script because what they do, they got it from one source. And anytime you get something from one source, you're listening to one side of the story. But AP is good, though. They look at a bunch of sources before they put their stuff out. One of the most trusted is AP. I read AP, but I also double, triple check what they say because I don't want to put out lies. And we can all mess up. We can all mess up, put out something wrong, but just come back and square it up. It's not a process of trying to get people to believe what you say. It's about a process of getting people to look and search for the truth and hold you accountable. Like I always say with this thing I do, straight facts, no chaser. It's like, it's not just me giving you the facts. It's iron sharpening iron. It's you giving me facts too. You correcting me on certain things so that we have the same facts and that we're all working off the same thing. Like I said to the other person earlier, we can have difference of opinion on a fact. Like I gave that example of a credit score or rating or interest. 18.99, whatever it is high for some, others it's a blessing. Same thing, we're both looking at 18.99. We got difference of opinion on it. Neither one of us is wrong. But the facts that we get this from can't be denied that it's 18.99. That right there, I get. Agree to disagree. But if I tell you 1 + 1 is 2 and you come back with 22, we ain't talking about the same shit. It ain't got shit to do with your feelings. The fact is it's 2, not 22. You feel me? Hope people understand that because it's not like people think, oh, you think he's right all the time. I'm like, no, I don't come to you until I research it. That makes me right because of the fact that I researched it. But if you came off the top of the dome, we were just sitting here just talking shit and just shooting the shit, and I'd be like, nah, I'm telling you my feelings at that point. And I could be 100% wrong because that's what I'm thinking logically should be. But when I go look it up, I could be 100% wrong. That's why I say we all need to do the homework so that we can share good shit and not toxic shit. Share the truth and not just your feelings. If you have nothing to back it up, quit regurgitating what your friend said. Even though your friend might be the smartest person you know, they can always have bad intel. Even a genius gets shit wrong a lot. That's why I say double check. Anybody that tells you don't double check them, don't triple check them, I'd be weary. Because that person's trying to feed you a narrative and they want you just to believe them. I'd rather you do the homework, come back, and we can agree or disagree or get another set of facts that we can look at and be like, I didn't know that. Didn't see that. That way we're sharpening each other. We're not judging one another. We're sharpening one another. And we have facts to back it up. Our feelings can come after that. But as long as we're focused on the fact, feelings come after that. All right? Cool. I've been putting up your messages up here. Like Dan Rathers, Barbara Walters, and Tom Bradshaw. Yeah. Vera, I missed that stuff back in the day too. When it was just news and it wasn't propaganda, it wasn't nobody's. When I was younger, I don't never remember. But when the older stuff, I didn't remember when we talked about just regular news. I don't remember it being an opinion of the anchor ever coming out of their mouths. Not that there's something wrong with it. I just never heard them do that. I got into news. One of the things I did notice when I got into news is I was in it's called NABJA, National Association of Black Journalists. I was a president in my college, and one thing I did notice about the news, I'm originally from Indiana, was that in Indiana, the news was very racist, right? It wasn't like they said the N word or nothing like that, but I even wrote to the news at the time because I got an interview with one of the CBS stations the CBS station, Wish TV, and not an interview. We had like a tour or something like that with our National Association of Black Journalists, and they took us on a tour of the news station and blah blah blah. And what I realized, I wrote this news station because they had a white anchor that was on, and I remember like vividly. I'm walking out of my house, my apartment, when I was like, I would say 18, 19 at the most, probably 19. And I'm walking out of my house because it's summertime. I'm home from school. I went to Ball State University. I'm home from school. I see my mother on the couch. I'm walking past the couch, going to the front door, about to hang out with my friends. My mom's watching the news. She did that all the time. So I'm walking out, and I hear on my way out, they were talking about the crime of the day type of thing, right? And it's like, today, whatever, this gentleman, was, what is it? Something like, this gentleman was arrested today on suspicion of robbing a gas station or whatever, something like that, right? Whatever the crime may be. But the adjective I turned around in my head, I said, the dude's got to be white. Turn around, and it's like, gentleman, for somebody who robbed a bank with a gun. Oh, okay. So I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, wow, whatever. And before I even get to the door, because it was a segue to another crime or whatever happened, and there's like, a bunch of thugs came into a grocery store and did such and such, such, and there's all these like negative adjectives. It was, I know thug was one of them, criminals, or, and I'm sitting there like, well, damn, you already done convicted this person in the news. And so when I turn around, bunch of black kids. So whenever they saw black people, they called them thugs on the news in my area. And I started watching, we had back then VHS. I started like recording news segments, like the whole entire like hour news segment. And I'd watch it because I wouldn't be home all the time. I'd watch it. And whenever they brought up black people, negative terms like thugs and, I can't remember all the names that were being used back then, but it was all negative terms. White person committed crime. I don't care if it was murder. This gentleman is such and such and such. He's 5 foot tall, whatever. This thug is 5'9". And I was like, I had to send a letter. I sent a letter to the news, and I'm like, why do you guys do this shit? Right? They replied. I can't remember. I got a letter back for something, but I don't forget what it was. But it was very dismissive. But that was the problem back then. But still, you didn't have a problem with, I didn't per se, with it being factual in the sense of they didn't throw their opinion in a lot of the stuff, but they did throw their racism and their and not, I didn't see it myself, but it wasn't like Bradshaw, it wasn't Walter Cronkite. I didn't see any of Barbara Walters. I didn't see any of them do that. But this was local news. So, yeah, anyway, it is a long stretch from like just regular news to now, right? And the world changes a lot, but that's what it was. From the AP old school funk, yeah. I remember that. I remember that it happened, but I remember the history of that when I was in college. I talked about that. Of how it worked when I was in college. I went to Ball State for film and television and news, or production, news production, and yeah, we learned a lot of those things about that. But yeah, AP has always, Associated Press has been really strong, and I put it this way, I have, it's been, wow, you think about your age, but like, wow, it's been that long. At least 30 years or so in that industry. I have yet to find a time that I've gotten news from AP that it wasn't true. I've double checked and triple checked, and I was like, they knew stuff before the news stations knew all that. So I got a high respect for them, but I still check them. They have all these years of credibility with me, but I still don't have that trust that they're gonna get it right every time. And I don't want to be that dude that just, oh, I trust them, I'm gonna believe it. I go check. I suggest you do the same, Because to me, the worst thing to do is prejudge or judge something or someone, and then spread that information only to find out you were wrong. That irks me. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the ones that's like, who did I tell that? Oh, I told that person. I call them up like, yo, I got it wrong. Even though that conversation has been long gone, they need to know so that they don't go regurgitating the bullshit I just gave them. And that's one thing I can't stand to have. So I never really say anything that I can't either back up. And if I do, I'll say this is not a fact. This is what I feel. So that you know I haven't researched that. Just so you get to know, you get an understanding of who I am, what I do. But yeah, always double check Rude Interplanet Janet. Thank you for being here. I see Old School Funk. You're still getting your little drink on right now. I'm going to relax here in a minute. Give me something to eat. I live in Kokomo for some time. You did? Oh, nice. Who was that? Oh, it was the Beach Boys that came out. Live Kokomo. Yeah. What part? I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I grew up first on the east side. I was out of like Emerson and 34th Street. And then I moved over to, I know you don't want this in detail, you probably don't know it, but I do it anyway. Then I moved to the northeast side, and I went to Warren Central High School out there near Warren Central. Yeah, stayed out there for a minute. What did you say? I just saw something. You said you used to get a better position than other people. Yeah, but that's life is everybody has their one thing I like about basically life. Everybody has their own perspectives on it uh, and experiences. Even with black people, we're not a monolith. We've had experiences. I've had a better life than some black people. Many black people have better life than me, whether it be economic, whether it be maybe family, whether it be whatever traumas or whatever. We have varying degrees. Almost all of us have dealt with racism in one shape or form. And almost all of us, I ain't gonna say all, but almost all of us at some point in time, let's put it this way, not all of us, those of us who are black who found out their counterparts, like wages, majority of us have found out we got paid less for doing the same job or even more. And that is a part of why we have a huge wage gap or wealth gap. That's part, but most of it's probably history, always being slighted. I remember not the first time I remember the very first time I was working at McDonald's when I was a kid, I found out people I was training was making way more money than I was. That would piss me off. But it happened so many times in life. I was working as a engineer in entertainment, film, television, and news industry, and realized that a person I was training, I got a college degree, taught myself how to do programming. In my college degree dealt with film and television, so I knew how to, splice quarter inch, 1 inch, whatever. If you guys know what that's all about. So all the different types of Betamax, all the different stuff. I knew how to edit, all that stuff. So I had all this experience, a vast amount of experience. I got into the second, like when you talk about the markets in entertainment, California and New York trade back and forth from 1 and 2. Chicago somewhere around 3 or whatever. Atlanta's come up a long way, but not back in the day. So so I was always like in first number 1 or 2 market being in California. Did all that, got where I was. But I remember I was training somebody, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I was heated when I found out this person made way more money than me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting there like, yo. And that's why they don't want you to tell nobody. Because it's not because of the fact that that person deserves more money than you. By all metrics, they didn't. The person I trained, they had no idea what they were doing. They were a friend of somebody's. They had no college education. They had like a trade school education, which had nothing to do with what the hell we were doing. I had a full 4-year college, all that. And this was a white woman and didn't have any experience in this industry whatsoever. I, on the other hand, had vast amount of experience. Had run a show in Indiana, had done a lot of different things. So I'm here training this person. And then later finds out this person's like, about a year in, this person's sitting there like, I didn't get this and I didn't get that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so what you're making? And then she told me, oh boy, in my head, I flipped out. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'll be back. I gotta go. I didn't go to my bosses. I just went to my car and was like, it's happening again. It happened again. You know, in your whole life, these things keep happening. At some point, you break. And you're like, I gotta quit. I gotta do something. This is disrespect. You know, all these different things. It's like, I was wondering why this girl and her family were buying cars left and right. I'm like, how's she affording all this shit? She must be in hella debt. Must be rich or something. No, broke as a stroke. Her family was poor, everything. She just ended up getting more money because she was a white woman. It had nothing to do with anything else. I had the better education. I was the one training. I was better at the job. I'm the one who asked for more money than what she was asking for, and they said they couldn't give it to me. She got it without even asking. It just bothered the shit out of me. And that's why I say, you know what? I got to become an entrepreneur, do my own thing. I can't stand people who hold people back just because they don't like that person's race. That person, they did nothing to them. Giving them a lot of the years of their life. And while you sitting next to them, laughing at them, tell them, hey, how's your daughter doing? Oh, she's doing great. Okay, tell her I said, hi, happy birthday. All the time while you that cool with them, they're saying, fuck you, by giving your family way less than families that look like them. That takes a special type of evil to look at a family that's black or brown and give them less for the same amount of work and expect more out of them than you do white. And you're going to pay them to work less than the black person because you're trying to keep that wealth gap. While all the time, the black people and people of color are like, they ain't thinking nothing of that. They're just thinking like, oh, I got a nice job. I'm getting paid $100,000 a year, blah, blah, blah. Then you find out hard work you put in, that person over there has more in savings because they're going out having a ball, skiing, and stuff like that. And they still got more in savings than you, even though you ain't doing jack shit. But saving, they're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 more than you. It broke me at that time. So I got to become an entrepreneur, and I've been focused on that ever since. And when I quit, I was excited. I was like, fuck these people. I'm done with them. They keep telling you it's raining, they pissing on you. I'm like, I got no time for that. I ain't got no time for that. Signing off. All right, just listen. Take care. Peace, love. Have a good one. I'm about to get up out of here myself. Much love to y'all. You know, we do have to focus on, you know, I do meditation on Wednesdays. You got to focus on some positivity. It drives me nuts with all this stuff, but I put out there the truth no matter what. I'm not here to make people feel good or bad. I just want the truth. I expect that, and then I expect you want it from me as well. So that's what this is all about. Protect your peace when you these crazy things that are going on. Please go and seek some positive stuff. Go hang out with your family. If you love bowling, do some of that. Basketball, whatever it is you do, watch movies. Escape away from this stuff because this stuff will have your mind, your body, your health just twisted. Take some time, quiet time, and try to escape it and deal with it in chunks. That's what I try and do. Even though I'm in the heat of this. I make content off of this stuff and try and help inform people. It's a lot of work, but it's well worth it to get people educated. Some people listen, some people don't. You can't determine where it goes. You just do it. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, much love to y'all. I'm going to keep doing it as best I can. And hopefully you guys have a good night. Be safe. I'll see you tomorrow around 5:30ish Pacific Standard Time. Pray to God that, you know, our military men and women remain safe and that somehow God just wakes this country up and decides that they love their country more than they love their party. We can only pray. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good one. As always, I'll see you when I see you.